Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Cliff Robinson, Deputy Fire Chief of New Hanover County Fire Rescue, and I'll be presenting to you today about smoke detectors. Now first, I'd like everyone to ask yourselves a question. How many smoke detectors do you currently have in your home? Got you thinking now, don't I? Let me ask you another question. How do you know if they're working or not? When was the last time you checked it? So today, we're going to discuss the importance of having working smoke detectors in your home. First off, let's talk about where you can purchase a smoke detector. Some of the good locations for that could be at your local Walmart, Kmart, your local hardware stores, Ace Hardware, True Value. You could also look at your big box stores like Lowe's, Home Depot. They all have smoke detectors and they're there for you to purchase. That's our recommendation. They're out there everywhere for you. Now that you're thinking about them and where you can purchase them, I'd like to talk to you a little bit now about the types of smoke detectors that are out there. On the market, there are two different types of smoke detectors: ionization and photoelectric. The ionization is designed to capture a fast-moving fire. If you stop and think of a fire in your kitchen or in a trash can, the flames move really quick, and that's a fast-moving fire. So the ionization is one that would pick that up really quickly. The other type is called a photoelectric. This one does a really good job of picking up smoldering smoke. An example of that could be maybe on the couch, or maybe if you fell asleep on in your recliner. If you were smoking a cigarette, that could cause that type of fire. That would be the smoldering type, the photoelectric. With the two smoke detectors, there are a couple of options. You can either have a battery operated smoke detector or what we call a hardwired smoke detector. Now, the hardwired smoke detector, we strongly recommend that you use a licensed electrician to have those installed, because it is actually a live power circuit that goes through your house that powers that smoke detector. Now, today, the smoke detectors they use have a 10-year lithium battery. And when you do install those type detectors, make sure you always write the date, month and year on the mounting bracket. So you know that after 10 years, you know that you installed that bracket or that smoke detector in 2013, that you'll know it's time to go back and change it in 10 years. So there's a couple of options on that as far as those smoke detectors, but I can't stress enough, if you do have a hardwired detector, make sure you use a licensed contractor. Very important to do that. Now let's talk a little bit about the installation of smoke detectors. Always follow the recommendations on the manufacturer's boxes. They will tell you the best locations, how many inches to mount it from your ceiling. Typically it's 8 to 12. But you also want to make sure you have a smoke detector at the hallway of your bedrooms, at the bedroom doors. It's very important, so if you were sleeping at night that you would hear it. Now, if you have a very long hallway with smoke detectors on one end or the other, it's very important that you have smoke detectors on both ends, because you don't want to rely on the smoke detector at the far end down here to activate and wake the people up down on this end. So it's very important, if you have a long hallway with bedrooms on both ends, make sure you have two smoke detectors. Also, it's very important to remember you have smoke detectors on each floor, including a basement. And the reason this is very important, because if a fire was to start on the first floor where most of our kitchens are located, and the bedrooms are on the second floor or the third floor, how much time is going to go by before the smoke finally gets up there and activates? So it's better to go ahead and install them on each floor, including the basement. Very important there. Also, one of the important things about the installation of them, where to put them, is how to do your monthly inspections to make sure that they're always working. Most smoke detectors today have a test button on it that you can just push and hold for 3 to 5 seconds, and it'll activate just like it was if it was a real fire or smoke that it was sensing. So just make sure you check that monthly to ensure that it's working correctly every month. So we've talked a little bit about where you can buy them, where to install them, the different types that are out there. I want to talk a little bit now about some other options that may be available in your local communities. Here in New Hanover County, we have several programs that we work with to help to make sure that everybody has working smoke detectors in their home. The first program we have is obviously by request. If a local homeowner was to contact our headquarters or one of the fire stations and said, hey, we're having some problems with our smoke detector, would you come out and take a look at it? We'd be more than happy to send one of the engine companies out to go out and inspect it and make sure it's working properly. And if they have purchased a new smoke detector, we'll check it, make sure it's working properly, and we will install it if it's a battery operated. If it's electric, we won't install those because, like we said, remember, that's right, always use a licensed electrician if you have to do an electric install. Another program we have is for low income. And we work with our local health department and our school systems to help determine these folks who may be in need of smoke detectors. And we actually send our fire department staff out to go out and install these smoke detectors for these folks. And we'll make sure that there's one on each floor, by the bedrooms. We also make sure there's one maybe in the living room area to help ensure that if a fire was to occur that they have all means of notification so they have time to get out. So that's another program that we offer within our department. And here in the last few years we've ventured out in another method, working with our health department and on a program called Meals on Wheels. And this is for low income people who have to have meals brought to them because they're unable to travel out and get those. So typically what we do is we take our senior staff from our fire chiefs down to our captains, and we actually go out and assist delivering the meals to these individuals during the month of October, which is Fire Prevention Month. And while we're there delivering the meals, we'll offer to come in and let us check their smoke detectors and make sure they're working properly. And if not, we'll have some in our vehicles. We can go out and grab them, come back in, and install them a new smoke detector because we want to make sure everybody is safe in our county. So now you've got a little bit of knowledge about smoke detectors, and I think you know what you need to do next. So let's just do a little review. Remember in the very beginning we talked about where you could purchase those smoke detectors. We talked about the different types, and here's a little trick to remember. On those different types, the best thing to do is they actually make a combination smoke detector. Yeah, so you can buy one that has both of the sensors in it, and personally that's the one I recommend, and that's the one I bought for my house. So just a little trick for you to remember that one. We talked about how to install those smoke detectors, and we also discussed on how to test them and make sure they're working properly every month. And this is a good thing that you can get your family involved with your children. And when you test that smoke detector, go ahead and take that opportunity to do a little take that opportunity to do a little fire drill at home. Your kids always do fire drills at school. They probably come home and talk about it. The fire truck's pulled up and everything. Just remember, go home and practice that with your family and see how that works out for you. So today, I'd like to thank you for allowing me to come out and speak to you today about smoke detectors. And if you have any questions, I'll be available at the end of the program up here at front of the stage to come up and see me. Again, on behalf of New Hanover County Fire Rescue, I'm Chief Robinson, the Operations Chief for New Hanover County, and we'll see you again real soon. Thanks a lot, and have a great day.